Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Committee of the Whole. I will declare the meeting in session. Let's get started. A lot of information on the agenda tonight. Would someone like to move the approval of the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, we have some minutes from May 10th. Would someone like to move the approval of the minutes, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Seconder?
Seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. We have some minutes from a CC meeting. Deputy Mayor, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In accordance with Section 41(3) of the City of Corner Brook Act, where a decision is made by the councillors at a privileged meeting, the decision, in order to be valid, shall be ratified at a public meeting of council. Council Committee meeting May 10th, 2021. It is resolved to ratify minutes CC 21-007, approval of the agenda. And a motion by Councillor Bucko, second by the Deputy Mayor. It is resolved to approve the agenda as circulated. The motion was carried.
Okay. Would someone like to second that?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried.
It is resolved to ratify minutes CC 21-009, Halifu flag. And a motion by Deputy Mayor Griffin, second by Councillor Jason. It is resolved to approve the permanent placement of the Halifu flag at City Hall. The motion was carried.
Okay. Seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Thank you very much. Next, we have any business arising from the minutes from May 10th.
Mr. Mayor, if I could give a little update on our June month Bag a Day contest, what took place.
Sure, go ahead.
We had our winners drawn for last week, and Mr. Andrew King drew for the winners. I have the winners' names here, and they are Maureen Taylor won the $1,500.
Okay.
I'm not sure, was it Mr. or Mrs. Connolly won $500, and a Mrs. Pennell won $250. Overall, we had well over 200 bags cleaned up through the city and that, which was a great initiative and true. And I think, right off the top of my head, we had a little over 85 people involved with picking up garbage. So it went over well, and when I give a report later on, I'll announce a new initiative. We'll be starting on June 25th to 27th about cleaning up around the city of Corner Brook boundaries.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first item here under public safety, completion of new training facility for our fire department. Councillor Carey.
Mr. Mayor, in October 2020, the Corner Brook City Council approved the proceeding with the modular shipping container live burn structure for the Corner Brook Fire Department. The structure is now complete. Inspection and commissioning by the engineering is also complete. The project, however, came in over budget. The reasons for the over budget expenditures are as follows. The overall main error, I guess, was in underestimating the extensiveness of the steel work that was required to fully complete the structure. There were additions to the structure. The budget for the building of this particular training facility, I guess, was based on using a preliminary design that lacked the exact details of additional stairs and support structures that were required, I guess, internally and externally to make it fully functional and operational. There was also a scope creep in the initial design, did not have a container standing on its end. And I guess the recommendation from the engineering and the design was that the final engineering design, I guess, but failed to underestimate the added cost of this particular structure incurred, including, I guess, the appending of the main structure, as well as an added stairway and railing. So there was also the additional C-can container that was not part of the original design that was added at a later stage. I guess, as well as adding steel petitioning inside. The original design called for wooden petitioning. However, to better extend the longevity of the structure, it was decided to change out the wood for steel. Also, more petitions were added to accommodate expanded training functionality for both the water treatment plant and civic centres in terms of space confinement. There were also safety enhancements that the preliminary design did not capture. These included a secondary staircase, which was required for safety access and escape for anybody that was using the facility. A steel walkway was added on the top of the container to enhance the strength of the roof and provide more safety to the structure, as well as stair treads were to be galvanized and grated by engineering design so that they not lose the steel integrity and the gripping, I guess, going into and exiting the facility. There were various options that are presented, Mr. Mayor. The options are the project being over budget will have an impact on the current expenditures for the fire department. To assume this cost, the fire department will. And it says further decrease its budget over the 5-year span to accommodate the cost of this particular project. The fire department will offer its facility to its neighboring fire departments for a fee and apply these fees to the total project cost. The fire department will also offer the facility to the Provincial Fire Training School, again, for a negotiated fee to be determined. And the fire department will also provide training using this facility to other city employees, thereby reducing their departmental cost for the hazmat and the SCBA training.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the full detailed breakdown of the cost are there. The engineering and design costs were budgeted at 5. They came in at 4,945. The groundwork and the stabilization of the pads were budgeted at 10,000. The actual excavation work and everything came in at $1,963. The 7 shipping containers were budgeted at 20,000. They came in at 21. And the assembly and fabrication was budgeted at 15, and that came in at 40. And the total cost, Mr. Mayor, for the welding was $58,019.56 for a total project cost of $126,740.74. So as you can see, the additional costs were really in the assembly and fabrication as well. Yeah, the assembly and the fabrication cost really is where the extra dollars were. And primarily to beef the structure up for safety reasons, to add the additional sea-can on its side, the addition of the safety features of the stairways on both the top and on the outside structure as well, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have
Go ahead.
one question. Obviously, we're over budget on this particular project, and when this first came to council a while back, when it was approved, and in the information presented this evening, it references the preliminary design. Was there a professional preliminary design for this particular project at the beginning? Was it a paid professional design, or was it something that city staff worked at on their own?
Initially, it was a conceptual design that city staff worked on, and then it was passed over to the engineering firm, Anderson Engineering, to conduct the actual engineering.
So the actual engineering that was conducted by the professional group, did that take place very near the beginning, or they incorporated all of the design changes after the initial concept?
It occurred fairly early in the project, yes, after the containers were delivered and whatnot, but we were still talking design probably about a month in.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, go ahead, Councillor Chason.
Okay, just I guess a follow-up on Councillor Granter. We heard about chances of recouping money and for our overruns, because we're going to offer it to neighbouring communities. So if we offer it to neighbouring communities, will they bring their own supplies, or will they be availing of the supplies that's offered to the Cornbrook Fire Department? For example, fire trucks, breathing apparatus, whatever gear they need, will it be supplied by when they come, or will it be contingent on us to provide it?
Yep, Mr. Flynn.
So each fire department that would come and use the facility would use their own gear. They'd want to use their own gear, so they train in their own gear. All we can offer them is the facility itself.
Okay, and
Yep, go
can I
ahead.
ask there a quick one?
Yep.
What about training? Like, are we going to, will we be the ones responsible for the training, or will they be bringing a training officer with them to train? And if we do, will that be additional cost?
Okay, Mr. Flynn?
We would love the opportunity to offer training to other fire departments around us. If they want to avail of that, we obviously will offer that at a cost. We wouldn't give it to for free. You know, we're not using taxpayer money to do that. So yeah, we would, if they did come and ask for training, a training officer, we would provide that. However, most of these fire departments are currently conducting their own training as it stands right now, so they would continue to do that unless they ask otherwise.
Okay.
One final.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Councillor Stephen. Maintenance on this building, will there be much maintenance? Will we have to provide much maintenance? Because I can see it being like used a lot, and might be a hard question.
It's a pretty hardy, rough construction. I can't answer for sure that there won't be any, you know, if there's any cracks or anything that occur, we'd have to maintain that. We'll probably have an engineer check it every so often to make sure that's not the case. But right now, we don't expect any huge maintenance costs. It's a pretty rough construction, so.
Now, Councillor Stephen, you can go. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I have a question and a request. The request is the following. Would somebody please, or would you ask staff to get a new chair? Because I seem to be sitting in the death seat here tonight.
Actually, unfortunately, we already spent it on the training facility.
Yeah.
So, no chair.
I would rather have a high chair than this chair. The question, Mr. Mayor, is a lot of the volunteer fire departments are in poor financial shape. What kind of a fee would we charge, and have we thought about that yet?
We have put some consideration into that, and the way we would look at this is amortizing the life of the project. So we expect to get 10, 15 years out of this structure. And if we take that and do the math on that, how much it costs per year, so we break that out to be about $10,000 a year probably in that area that we're looking at keeping that facility. We would look at offering the cost probably in the area of $2,500 a year or something like that. We checked with other facilities across the province in Central, and that's what they're offering out there. So,
Okay, so I guess, Mr. Mayor, the $75,000, whatever it is, would we better off taking that out of capital or take it out of the budget? I guess
Well,
that's Mr. Park.
That might be a question for Mr. Park, but
You wouldn't qualify for capital because.
So you'd have to-
We did it all in house.
You'd have to take it out of the budget for this year. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
okay. Anything else?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
There was discussion at the meeting about taking it out of this year's budget, and I guess what was asked was to go back and have a discussion with Mr. Park to see where the savings, are there savings in other areas, budgeting within the city, are there other areas that we're not going to be expending funds on, and do it that way. Simply say that further decrease the budget of the fire department to accommodate the cost over the next 5 years. It's not probably one of the best options, certainly an option that was put forth, but the better option would be to take it from this year's budget and find savings from within the paper, as suggested as well, I guess, by the Chair of Finance.
Okay. Anything else? Oh, go ahead.
I was at probably one of the initial meetings that we had when it came to this facility. And I got the impression I got at the meeting that this was regional, that they were looking for a place to put it, and where we have the only full-time fire department on the island, that Corner Brook kind of fit. But from what I'm hearing now, it seems like we own it.
Yeah, we do.
We own it, and nobody else is committed to it at all.
Yeah, I think,
when we initiated this project back about 3 years ago, the intention was that it would be a regional project.
Yeah.
We've waited for the province actually to come to the table. They initially did, FES
Yes.
did, but the report has sat on several different ministers' desks. in the meantime, so we decided that we just had to deal with this, and we did it as, as economically as we could possibly do it for our fire department.
The other question I had, and that was the thing, at that meeting, we had all the so-called super brains when it comes to fire structures and firefighting and all this stuff. So my question is, the initial building that came through, with all those mines there, how come somebody didn't pick up on that wood wouldn't survive, we need steel, all the, we need this extra container and we need these extra steps. I don't know why that wouldn't have come out initially instead of coming out now.
It actually came out about a month in on the project, I guess, is when we, about 3 weeks in, when the conceptual design was actually translated to a actual engineering design. And we met with the engineers and discussed some of the requirements. And then the documents came to us, jib-jab, here and there. And then finally, it took about a month for us to get the actual full document.
I kind of feel for the director because, to me, I'm really not pleased with the fire commissioner because I think he kind of led us down the path on this one. And then when he got all the interest going and stuff like that, he kind of bailed on us and kind of left it in. And like I said, I feel for the director. I mean, I don't know, there's not much we can do with this now because we have it and work is done and we have to pay people. But this is not the way to do business, I don't think. I mean, we have a bill here now, we have to pay it. It's all
Oh,
done,
yeah.
right?
No,
My
no, that's,
understanding is all done.
this is just a matter of, this is not a matter of paying, it's a matter of how we budget, really. Yes, go ahead. Oh, I thought you were,
No, that's where I was going with
Yeah.
this. I mean, we had it set up to be what it is, and now we kind of went from like a building to like a big monster, state-of-the-art. I don't think that's what we had in mind. I think the impression I got at that meeting was that we need a place where we can go, fire departments in the regional can go and safely train for firefighting. And basically, all you're going to see in these buildings is smoke anyway. And I don't know why. I don't understand where the wood is an issue now. It's steel and that kind of stuff. I just think that again, I have no issues with the director on this. I think somebody kind of dropped the ball on this, and I lay it right at the feet of the commissioner, really, because I think he kind of stirred the pot and failed. That's my thought.
okay, yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, really looking around, I'm a little bit shocked at the little bit of debate we're having on this. Because I know when we were over $60,000 on the splash pad, I was really, I guess, almost embarrassed by councillors here because we went over on the $60,000. Okay? I'm totally shocked. And the councillors know, everyone here knows that this went on for over a year. When that project went over $60,000, it almost rested on my shoulders, okay? Fine, we went over $70,000 on this here. I got a problem. How come it took so long to come to council? Okay? And why weren't we informed before? Because I know we had minutes and everything like that. It should have came forward to council. But for the little bit of debate we're having on this, and these councillors know what I'm saying is true. Okay? I was almost repeated at every meeting that we had. This overrun on this splash pad over there, and I didn't build it. Okay, I made the motion that we put a splash pad over there, and that, but it was put on my shoulders, come over. And tonight, this is brought forward to council here, and councillors here had asked 1 or 2 questions on it and nothing else. And we're $76,000 over when we have in protective services, which is the fire department over, costing this city taxpayers over $4 million a year. So it ticks me off a bit to see that there's no more debate in this on $76,000 overrun.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry.
And also, then we have councillors also stating that we're having overruns on everything here and there's no debate on it. So I'm disappointed.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor, just a quick point. When you have a debate in chambers, as Councillor alluded to, lots of times it goes back and forth. We go around the table, you might have a couple of comments.
Yep.
And then other people speak, and you might come back for other comments. And I agree with Councillor that this should have been brought back to Council long before tonight, to, which was the preamble to the question I had with regard to the engineering services, when they were initiated from the very beginning. So that's just a point.
Okay, yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Just I guess a quick follow-up to Councillor Buckle. A lot of the discussions that we had, if you want to get back into the splash pad, and we're not going to get back into that tonight because it's open and kids are using it and they're loving it. A lot of those were private discussions, and I was probably one of the ones who brought up the overrun in the cost on the splash pad. But I certainly didn't lay it on Councillor Buckle's shoulders. I asked the finance person what the overrun was, and I certainly didn't ask Councillor Buckle what the overrun was because I knew he didn't pay it out of his own pocket.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yep. Okay, I can also repeat back something on that. Maybe Councillor Jason, I don't remember, but I can quote stuff here that it was repeated and persistent attempts to discredit me, really, at these overruns. And that.
Point of order,
Very
Mr.
different.
Mayor. Can we have point of order right now? Because, thank you.
Does anyone have any productive questions on this?
Mr. Mayor, there's still the option. Staff can go back to the province and ask the province if they will come back to the table.
Yeah, and I don't
There's
know
an
if that's
option
a
as well.
productive option at this
Yes, and
point.
I can't go and ask that question, and I will.
Okay.
But, yeah, because if I remember back from when the project first, sorry, Mr. Mayor, you had, Mr. Flynn, you had mentioned that you might touch base with Derek Simmons,
Yes,
and there might be some dollars there for us.
yes.
Yeah,
That
I
was
think
2 or 3 years ago.
I think that, again, it seems to me that I remember the discussions you were talking about. This came before council. When it was an idea, I think you convened a number of the regional departments.
Yes, I had all
along
the
with
day
FAS.
fire departments involved.
And that fell through, and I remember that we did pivot to doing it anyway. It is, again, it is a substantial overrun here, and I think that we've got some lessons to learn on how we're doing this. But as we said, we've got to pay our bills at this point. And I don't know, I know the last time, I think you're within your departmental budget, as I understand. That
Yes, I
you've-
still-
You've been
still
able to
am.
move some money around here?
I believe so. I'll be working with the Director of Finance to monitor that.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I can say one more word.
Yep.
Also, I'm not pleased it's gone over $76,000, I know, but I have been talking to some volunteer firefighters that went in and toured the whole facility, and they said it is a great job done, something that's going to last for a long time, and they were pleased with from different departments, you know. But I'm just disappointed in the $76,000 overrun.
Yep. Okay. Nothing else there? Okay, thank you. Councillor Granter, digital speed signs.
Thank you,
Mayor,
Mr.
do we-
Mayor, for information purposes only.
Mr. Mayor, before we just,
Oh, sorry.
that was a motion to approve the over
Oh.
expenditure.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't, there was no motion. I don't think, was there?
No, we didn't.
There isn't a motion in the document.
There isn't a motion.
There isn't a motion.
Now,
in the
I guess
document.
to allude to what Councillor Buckle was talking about,
I would like to make a motion.
there was a motion made when the splash pad did go over. There was
that's
an
my point.
assistance.
Yes.
I personally don't believe that it requires a motion, because
Is there?
it's within his budget, and
Well, Mr. Mayor, that's the point. It's not within the budget. It's $76,000 over, to Councillor Buckle's point, and he's correct. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve the overage for the fire department training facility.
okay. Would someone like to second that? Okay, Deputy Mayor?
I thought I had, Mr. Mayor, at the end.
No, sorry, I didn't,
I
and again, there was no motion, well, like I said, there was no motion outlined
Yep.
there, and I don't know from a procedural point of view, I know with the splash pad, it was well within its budget, there was it was within our capital letter revenue monies, I believe, that year.
It's just where we,
This one's coming out of our training,
Yes, it's coming out of training budget. And,
Right.
yes.
out of the operational budget.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So the money's going to be found within the department, within the...
Yep.
Mr.
Yes,
Flynn? Yeah.
yes, that's
Yep.
correct.
If you're gonna be found in there, then you got a budget, you need a motion, really.
We do, because it's $76,000 over the original amount that was forecasted, Mr. Mayor, going into
It
the
doesn't,
project.
it
That's the
doesn't
only
hurt
reason
for
I-
council to give some, again, I hate this precedent, that we have to sort of clarify this, I think, for future.
Yep.
I don't see any harm in the motion, but I don't know that it's required.
And it's more for the protection and approval of staff that I make it, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anyone have anything to say before we vote? Okay.
I just think, I'm disappointed in the process, but I think it's there, and you know, there's no going back now. I mean, it's done, and we kind of lick our chops, whatever the word is, and go forward. But I think, you know, if anything should come out of this is not the way to do it. You know, is to go ahead and do it and then come back and ask for the okay is not. But it's done. The structure's there, and so no disrespect to the director. I mean, just, I think it's.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go over that again. Yeah.
Okay.
That's.
Okay, so anything to add before we vote? So there's a motion to approve the funding for this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay, let's pick it up. We got speed signs. Let's use them.
Thank you,
Councilor
Mr. Mayor. Again, just for information purposes only this evening, the City of Corner Brook has 4 digital speed signs installed throughout the city. Currently, the digital speed signs are installed on McCollum Drive near Margaret Bowater Park, Peachtree Street near Barton's Point Park, East Valley Road near the neighborhood playground, and on West Valley Road near the top of Bellswick Road. The installation of these signs is somewhat temporary, such that they can be moved around the city as the need arises. However, currently the 3 signs associated with the parks and playground are permanently located in these locations, so we only have 1 sign we move around every 2 to 3 weeks. The cost to purchase these signs is $4,500, HST included each. The signs display the vehicle speeds as it approaches the sign and alerts the driver to slow down if the vehicle is exceeding the posted speed limit for the area. And something that I'm not sure if everyone knew, in addition to displaying the vehicle's speed, the sign also records the number of vehicles and their speeds that passes the sign at any given time. The city frequently downloads this data to review traffic volumes and associated speeds in the area. Residents who feel that speeding is an issue on their street can call 637-1666 to request the sign be temporarily installed on their street for data collection. As noted above, because of limited number of signs and the time it takes to collect relevant and accurate data, it may take several months before the sign is installed on your street. And the objective, Mr. Mayor, is to place the digital speed signs in the necessary locations to obtain accurate data of traffic volumes and speeds in order to make more informed decisions regarding traffic calming techniques. And again, Mr. Mayor, this is just for information purposes this evening. We identified the cost as $4,500. I know I've had a couple calls this summer with people that would like to have the sign on their street, and we just gave the telephone number 636-1666, and I spoke to the director before the meeting, and it's something that we could have further discussion on with regard to purchase 1 or 2 or more speed signs at some future date, but that's not on the agenda for this evening.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions on that item?
Mr. Mayor, if I could ask the director, Mr. Burden, are we using any speed bumps this year anywhere around town?
Ellswick Road,
Any
I
more?
think that's the only one.
A couple of residents asked me about it, and I told them to phone the city and make a complaint, or make it, not a complaint, I suppose, to ask who they would have the contact to see if they could get bumps put on the road because of speed and that, so.
We've had several requests, and we've put out the speed signs to review the volumes and the traffic. Speed bumps are not the answer to every speeding issue.
No.
Like I said, just between myself and Director Charters, we analyze all the requests that come in and collect the data and then make a decision on, sometimes it's as simple as different line painting as opposed to a speed bump. There's different traffic slowing techniques. And speed bumps is just one of the many that we utilize, so.
Thank you.
Okay? Yes, go ahead.
Just a comment. I don't know about anybody else, but I find like, especially when I'm going down by the park and coming up that sign, and I find it, I'm watching the sign to see, you know, like when it slows down, looking at the numbers and stuff like that, and I really should be looking at the road. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking, and I think what I'm doing is that I'm waiting for, I don't know what the speed limit is there, and I'm waiting for the sign to tell me. I'm just wondering, do we have the actual speed on that sign so that, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, like the speed for that street is, so,
Yeah,
so instead of having to look at the sign and wait till it comes, okay, I'm good now.
Yeah, so we can put a, it's a, I
speed
do
limit
believe it's a
sign,
50,
thank you.
it's a 50 zone there.
Yeah,
We could actually put a 50 zone speed sign back from the actual digital sign so
can
that,
we put it on the sign?
we could, if you drive 50 now, or
Yeah.
if you drive, it depends on how the signs are set up, but
Yeah.
it should display 50 until it picks up your speed.
Yeah.
I can get that checked to make sure that that's how
I
it's
just
actually
find that
functioning.
I do that, and I don't know if anybody else does it, but like you're going down and it's, the red light is blinking, and so you're trying to slow down, but you're watching to see where, okay, now I'm legal.
Yep.
Now, I'm, you know, that's not good safe driving practice, really. So I'm just wondering, instead of me waiting to see what number comes up, if we could have the number on the sign, then you know right away that
Yep.
if it's 50 and you're doing 60, then you
Yep.
won't need to be looking at the,
No,
I don't know, I just,
no, I can have.
maybe that's something,
It's a lot of that is just programming of the actual sign itself.
yeah.
So I'll just have our staff look at it and see if we can change the program to do that.
There's a lot of, one thing to note about all this, speed hump signs, all these things, I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. Donnie Burton did write the seminal paper on speed hump policy, but Darren Charters, who is, again, a traffic engineer in his former existence, has educated me a lot on the science of traffic, and often we think of a common sense solution to put a speed hump somewhere or a sign here or something like that. It's usually not that simple. People ignore signs if they're not used correctly, lines, speed humps, all these things. So often, try not to think, I know we have problems and concerns in our neighborhoods. Think about what the problem is and let the experts figure out the best way to handle it is what I'd recommend. So, right?
Well, I was just thinking the safety part. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
if I'm taking my eyes off the road, it's not good.
Don't do that.
And you don't want the high score there. That's the other.
No, you don't want a high
Running
score.
the sign.
Anyway, you know where I come from on that, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Councillor Granter, let's see if we can find a way to stop Broadway from caving in. We got a soil retainment structure.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The issue is the current wooden soil retainment structure at 84 Broadway has failed and requires immediate replacement. Anderson Engineering Consultants issued a tender on behalf of Public Works, Water, and Wastewater for the installation of a new concrete block soil retainment structure at 84 Broadway. The tender closed on May 26, 2021, and all compliant bids are listed below, HST included. Cangrow Services Limited bid $68,540.00, HST included. Be it resolved, Mr. Mayor, that Corner Brook City Council award the soil retainment structure replacement to Cangrow Services Limited for the amount of $68,540, HST included. So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Seconded, okay. Questions on this one? Came under budget, that's good.
That's the solo building,
This, right, solo building?
yeah. Next to the National True.
That's correct. yeah.
It's inside the building is the problem, right?
No, it's just in front of National Shoe, where the bench used to be that burnt, that
Yeah.
caught fire. So once that bench burnt and we removed that bench, that's when we realized that there was a retaining wall below that bench that
okay.
was holding basically Broadway and the sidewalk on Broadway off the solo building's foundation. And the solo building does not have a concrete foundation, it has a wooden foundation. So basically, this wall now would be to support Broadway and the sidewalk in front of National Shoe to protect the solo.
Okay. I thought this was the structure, because I know there's supports inside the solo building that go up against Broadway as well, but this is something completely different.
It's outside.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
So this obviously wasn't one that we had on our list, or was it one that we had on our list to complete and finish this year? Retaining walls.
This wouldn't have been on any
Wouldn't have been on our
capital
list?
list. This will have to be funded through my Public Works budget. So
Okay.
I'll have to look through my operational budget to find the funds for this project.
You know me very well, that was my next question, where the funding was going to come from. Thank you.
We approved the engineering on this a while back.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so any other questions on this? Okay. We got a mover and a seconder on that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. We have a discretionary use, 341 O'Connell, Councillor Chason.
My papers in order, and my iPad's gone blank again. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The City of Cornwall has received an application requesting permission to operate a shop, which is defined as wine supplies and fermenting of wine, from the existing building located at 341 O'Connell Drive, Corner Brook, Newfoundland. The building is located on in a light industrial zone where the proposed use shop is considered discretionary use of the City of Corner Brook's development regulation. The background on this application was advertised, giving the general public a chance to express any concerns that they may have with this development. The city did not receive any objections regarding this proposed development. The proposal, be it resolved, forget what I was going to say, be it resolved that this council, City of Corner Brook, that council in its authority approved the application for the proposed use shop for the existing building located at 341 O'Connell Drive, Corner Brook, Newfoundland. I so move.
Thank you. Someone like to second that? Okay. Questions on this item?
What is there now?
Is it the old Honda building there? It is, yes.
That's right next to the
Next
new building going up there.
to Taylor Smiles.
Taylor Smiles.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions there? Again, it's a commercial kind of area.
For me?
It's a commercial sort of area, yeah.
Good use for that area.
Why would that be discretionary, Mr. Mayor?
That's a good question, Mr. Charters. Why is that discretionary? Why wouldn't shop be allowed in that area? Give us some planning wisdom
As you can
here.
see by the look on my face, I do not know the answer to that question, but I will find out.
I can offer.
Okay, yes. Mr.
And,
Cumberly.
now I got my backup, so if I'm wrong, you know. But that would be generally, that area would be generally reserved for more, commercial activities like bigger car, car dealerships, that type of place. So
Right.
not to fill it up with that type of,
Retail type.
of a retail business. So, but certainly oftentimes in any of these I've seen that they would have an opportunity to allow so many of those in an area like that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
That area would also come across down through the upper part of Country Road, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
So that would take in the Country Road area that we dealt with previously around the crematory.
No.
All the way
no,
up through, would that
No.
take in that whole area?
No, that's not the same zones.
Is that the same
That's a
area?
community service zone you're talking about there. Light industrial goes right from that whole strip there, where all the doctor's offices are, down right to Rogers building down there.
Because I was wondering, is that why it's zoned as, in the way that it was? That's all.
Yeah.
The whole area there?
Yeah.
Because it appears to be zoned the same.
Okay, any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carries. Next, Councillor Chason, we have an update from Development and Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is intended to serve as an update to council and the public regarding the various development and planning projects. Current projects update are as follows. IMSP and Development Regulation Update Project. The project is now well underway and with a major focus on the public consultation component of the project. The public is asked to visit www.cornerbrookplan.ca. to participate in this very important planning process. On the website, you will find a background document about the plan and mapping tool where you can place comments or view other comments regarding your specific area of interest. There will also be 3 different surveys that you can complete, one for the general public, one for business, and one for developers. Public input is critical for this project, so we can again encourage everyone to visit the website where you can take part in the process and tell us what is important to you and your family. This information will help us develop the city to be the place where you want it to be. So some of the other projects that are happening: CB Acute Care Hospital, Healthcare Crescent. Most permits are now issued, with permits recently being issued for the connection of the hospital to the long-term care building. The permit now has been issued for the fire alarm and smoke management systems, and 2 pre-board inspections have also been completed. Shoppers Drug Mart expansion, Millbrook Mall. Construction is ongoing, anticipated completion this summer. Berry Seafood expansion, Griffin Drive. Permits have been issued for the replacement of 3 large buildings, approximately 31,000 feet squared. Work is continuing on this project. New garage bus depot building for the provincial government on O'Connell Drive. Permits have been issued and work is continuing with anticipated completion by the end of June. The Great Canadian Dollar Store on West Street, occupancy permit issued last week. That is open, and lots of people visiting it, I must say. Research and Innovation Hub, 1 Mill Road. Interior demo is just about complete. Staff are waiting on a couple of update drawings to issue full permits. Pro-Choice Auto Glass, 396 O'Connell Drive. Staff will be issuing foundation permits this week for the new building. Taylor Smiles, and that's Dr. Bill Taylor on O'Connell Drive. All permits have been issued and the project is nearing the end of construction on the top floor. The owner will be looking for an occupancy permit for the top floor sometime in July. The main floor will be unfinished and vacant until new tenants fit up and is reviewed and permitted. West Coast Glass, 29 Lunderkin Drive. New building for West Coast Glass. All permits have been issued and construction is ongoing. Occupancy has not been granted as there are a couple of mechanical items left to complete. New Pet Value, 8 Murphy Square. New Pet Value interior fit up at former Sun Life Insurance building. All permits have been issued and demolition of the former Sun Life building has commenced. Heli Resources, 18 Lunderkin Drive, structural seal permit has been issued for this building. Clydeway Holdings, 12 Wheat Lakes Road. All permits have been issued and to complete a new 60 by 150 storage building. New subway building, Union Street. Permits are anticipated to be issued in a couple of weeks. SPCA building, Lunderkin Drive. Final permit to be issued in the coming weeks. And Gavin Etheridge Industrial Building, Lunderkin Drive, permit issued and complete building envelope. To complete building envelope.
Okay.
Term.
Thank you.
That's it.
Any questions on any of those items? Good, a lot of work continuing. Good to see. Community Services Update, Councillor Buckle.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this report is intended to serve as an update to council and the public regarding projects being undertaken by community services staff. Tourism, the STAR project. Staff are working with funding partners to complete the remaining steps of the project. A STAR advisory committee is being finalized. Track Consulting has prepared and submitted a COVID-19 impact analysis report on the STAR Humber Bay of Islands plan and recommendations. This report focuses on the recommendations, particularly in the short, medium, and long term. Staff are currently finalizing a proposal and then will complete the funding application with a COA for the implementation phase of the project. Our trails, staff has met with Crown Lands to identify license to occupy requirements to upgrade trails identified in the STAR Tourism project. Staff are working with local and regional trail stewardship associations to meet these requirements. Staff are also watching for funding announcements that can be used for this initiative. branding. The request for proposals is complete and waiting for release once funding is confirmed as part of the implementation phase of this project. Visitor Information Center. The agreement with the Board of Trade for a new one-year extension to operate the VIC and to improve services offered at the location on Confederation Drive is now in place. New signage is ready to be installed early next week. These will replace the older signage at the entrances to the city as well as the Visitors Information Center. New RV dumping station signage was ordered and will be installed. COVID safety measures are being implemented at the facility. An ad for the Down Home magazine was created, and 400 books will be delivered to the Visitor Information Center soon. Provincial tourism books are being delivered. Maps are being delivered. Students are hired and are being trained. Good news here, the Mill Whistle. Provincial guidelines has been verified. The Mill Whistle can run at full capacity. Masks are mandatory. Other guidelines pertaining to cleaning and sanitizing will be in place. Signage is printed to inform guests of the guidelines and rules. The Mill Whistle will operate Wednesday to Sunday from 11 to 1800. Monday and Tuesday will be for the maintenance and deep cleaning, etc. There will be a web page as well as a personal Twitter account for the Mill Whistle. Wi-Fi will be available on the train this year. A tracker has been installed to ensure guests can see where the train is and the wait time for a ride. I think, Mr. Mayor, it's the 25th of June, I think the Mill Whistle's starting. Okay, and a little bad news here, but we've got plans for other things to take place. The Jigs and Wheels Festival, the ATV Festival is canceled for 2021. Staff is now working on festivals and events for July and August and is developing an incentive program to help local businesses attract visitors. The main focus for this year will now be to assist local businesses get reestablished in the tourism industry as we begin to welcome guests in July. The city is partnering with the Grossmore Summer Festival to provide along the walking trail as well as traditional music shows at the Rotary Arts Center. Mr. Mayor, while we're talking about the ATVs here, I'd just like to inform everyone, starting on June 25th, 26th, and 27th, with the City of Corner and the sponsorship, we will be having an ATV POW, Protect Our Woods. What we're asking is all ATVers that we can pick up a bag of garbage in the woods. We're going to have a dumpster set up at the Ewan Drive parking lot on Main Street where they can drop it off, and there will be cameras there to film the people dropping off the garbage. And they have the phone in 637-1666, tell them they dropped off a bag of garbage here, and their names will be put in the draw to win great prizes. And I'll just give you, I say we got thousands of dollars for the prizes to give away. We have fireplace bits donated from Western Steel. We have gift cards from Rubberday. We have gift cards from Twin Peaks. We have gift cards from Stand. So there's going to be a lot of prizes from the toolbox. We have gift cards. So there's going to be a lot of prizes. There's going to be a lot of things. We want ATVers to bring it into the city, and that these mountain bikers, if they're out cleaning up their trails, and they're not allowed into the city, so we're asking them to drop it off at the bottom of the trail and phone it into the city, and we'll have our public works people pick it up and bring it in, because I don't know about everyone else here, but I'm a big ATVer, and I'm in the back country, and outside of this city, it is a total disgrace what's taking place with the garbage being dumped in there. I've been on the phone talking to different departments in the government, trying to find out what we can do to try to stop this from happening around this city. This council is not only worried about keeping the city clean, which we done with a bag a day and everything, but we're worried about what takes place because we are a tourism place. So hopefully now with this initiative, we'll get some of the garbage taken out of the woods, and it will improve everybody's adventure out in the wilderness for the tourism. So many people come here and love to see what's happening in the city. Thank you. The Cornbrook sign, staff are working on a design for a hard surface path to the sign from the sidewalk and around the sign, so people can get close to the sign without damaging the grass and flowers around the sign. That's a great project there. This sign, a lot of people come in from out of town to look at it and take pictures there. The Griffin Drive artwork project, another great one. Staff is working to beautify the lot. Maple trees, red stone, and 4 picnic tables, colored to match the indigenous medicine wheel, will be installed. The billboard style artwork will be in place at the beginning of August, which will be celebrated as another welcome back. Sustainability, waste management. Staff wishes to inform council and residents that backyard composters are now available to the residents of the city at a subsidized cost. These dual compartment tumbler-style composters are available at City Hall for $44 plus HST. And if you call now to order one, the number is 637-1666. Our transit study and system design. The draft report has been submitted and reviewed. The consultant will finalize the report and submit this week. It is anticipated the staff will bring the report forward to council by mid-July, as there is some research to be done regarding potential funding opportunities from the provincial and federal governments before recommendations can be brought forward to council. Community gardens and composting program. Staff is working with Western Environmental Center and members of the Barry Group on a new curling garden site on city land along Barry Place. This new garden is still in the planning phase, with a priority placed on having base garden infrastructure in place in each community this year, community garden. Staff and the Western Environmental Center are monitoring the ongoing community compost program. The program has so far started with great success. Grenfell. Staff is partnering with the Environmental Policy Initiative Lab to produce a report on electric vehicle policy in municipalities. Staff has recognized the importance of electric vehicles as an impediment to the sustainability and future of transportation within the city, and aim to address policy considerations concerning electric vehicles early to prepare for the future. There's a lot there. Urban forestry. Staff is working on an update for city urban forest management practices, and will be updating the documents to better align them with best practices and urban forest management standards in municipalities across Atlantic Canada. Staff is finalizing details to hire a 2-person green team in partnership with the Conservative Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador. The green team will be deployed through the city during the summer to assess the general health and condition of city trees, and begin collecting locational data to build a city tree GIS database. Staff is also working with the Canadian Forest Service Office to establish an urban forest partnership with the city. Business. World Council on City Data. The city has successfully completed World Council on City Data ISO 37120 certification at the highest platinum level for the year 2020. This enables cities of all sizes to attract investment and drive economic development with global comparative data. Staff has already started the certification process for 2021. The Downtown Urban Design Plan, or DUDAP. Staff are working on the final stages of phase 1 of the project. All the remaining work for DUDAP has been finalized with ACOA that will ensure full utilization of funding from ACOA and TCII. Highlights of the remaining work will be Wi-Fi and potential streaming dash cams on the road tran and Wi-Fi cameras streaming at the Majestic Lawn. Most of the remaining work is expected to be completed by the end of June. Staff are also working on the development of projects for phase 2 of the DUDAP program and the proposed new program for women entrepreneurs. Staff are exploring the opportunity to introduce a new program to encourage businesses in the city by women entrepreneurs. The program is sought to be delivered in partnership with the Newfoundland and Labrador Organization of Women Entrepreneurs. The details are being finalized and will be presented to council when ready.
Okay, thank you.
If I could say a few more words too, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to let people know, really, we want to keep the whole city and outside the city cleaned up with all the garbage and everything and that. And this council, I know we've been talking about cleaned up for years now and everything, and this city is looking better. Since you take 4 years ago, every year the city starts to look better and that. But I think we've got to open our minds and maybe look at the Western Regional Waste Management Board, do up a letter and send them and ask them if they could open the landfill over maybe Wednesday nights from 4 o'clock until 9 for free, every once a month even, because I personally think if people are working, if they could get into the dump after work, they would put it there instead of running in the countryside. So that's something we should be thinking of doing in the near future. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick follow-up to that for that lengthy presentation by Councillor. A lot of good stuff happening. I sent an email out to, this is a good segue into this point. I sent an email out earlier week, or it may have been last week, to councillors and staff with regard to smoking policy on green spaces, recreational facilities, and I did receive back the policy, and I'm speaking to a couple of people with regard to this. And I guess it fits right into community services, Mr. Mayor. We don't have any signs in our recreation areas or in our recreation buildings and green spaces, just as a reminder to residents. And I know it's very difficult to enforce that particular policy, but people smoking on green spaces and throwing their butt on the ground. But we don't have any signs in our green spaces in the park, Margaret Bowater Park, and in other areas. And with the suggestion of the people that I was speaking to this past week, perhaps it's something that community services could do to have a look at, put some signs up in Margaret Bowater Park, West Street, those areas, to just remind residents about that these are non-smoking areas around the city.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of questions. My ears perked up when I heard the visitors center. So I'd like to direct or somebody to send out an email. What changes are in the service are they going to do to make to improve the services? Because I think that was something that we talked about earlier. And the other thing is the Star Advisory Committee. Could we have the names of the people who are on it and who the chair is when it's all said and done?
I think the Star Committee now is now defunct, right? Or is not?
No, you're going to have a new one.
That's right. I think there's an implementation committee that will be formed. Is that correct, Mr. Charters?
Yes, the original advisory committee, their job is complete now, so we're trying to get into the implementation phase. And we asked for interested parties who wanted to be on the implementation advisory committee. So we're now we don't have the list finalized yet, so we're still looking for people on that.
So I guess the question of the day then, Mr. Mayor, is it going to be staff driven, or is the chair going to be somebody outside the city, and they're, who's going to run this organization?
I suspect this one will be staff because it is spending taxpayers' money at this point, with a lot of input from the operators in the area.
No, that's fine. Just want to know what's going on.
Okay, and as to the first item there, the Visitor Information Center, I know that there was some training involved in that, but I guess what expected improvements did we expect to see?
We've been working on very closely with the Board of Trade who operated for us. There's been some students hired. There's been some customer service training undertaken. There's been some COVID measures put in, freshening up the building, the area around there. Also, very importantly, getting the right brochures and documentation in place. We found that some of them were kind of old and outdated, but from other places other than the Bay of Islands and Corner Brook. So we wanted to make sure that we were well represented at that information center. So those are kind of the major changes. I can inquire a little more with our tourism staff and see what the details are.
Okay. Okay.
But because last year, for instance, they didn't have the new provincial booklet for 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Yeah, well, and we also had we had limited or no hours, I guess, for quite a bit, which is again another problem. Which hopefully this year we'll actually be able to be here in person. So.
No, we're contributing a fair chunk of change. We should get something for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. Any other questions there? Yes, go ahead.
On the community gardens, I guess. Just a quick question on who is responsible for the upkeep of a community garden when it goes in? Because we partner with WEC.
Yeah.
And just, I guess, zoom you over to Country Road. I've had a lot of complaints about the community garden on Country Road. It's actually an eyesore. It's an eyesore. We need a bit of work or a bit of upkeep on that, but I don't know who would be the one responsible for helping them out. I tell you, I wouldn't want to have to sit down and look out my window and see that every day.
Well, first of all, I'd remind you what it looked like before the garden was
I know,
there, which
but-
was a lot worse. But the plan has been always this year to do some landscaping, as I understand. I don't know the status of that, Mr. Charters.
What our plan is to get the base infrastructure in place at all the gardens. So we focused on curling this year and adding some more garden beds and sheds to the other. So we wanted to get that infrastructure in place. We will be coming back to council in budget season to ask for a little more cash so we can update those. I understand there's some, Donnie, some curb work that needs to be done in there as well. That's scheduled, I believe, this year. And that has to be done before we can do any landscaping in the area. But the intent is to get these moving, operational, and then we'll come back and realize the big full-blown plans that we have for each of the gardens.
We couldn't do anything to make it a little more attractive over there, like at a little cost or whatever for the neighborhood?
We can definitely look into it.
I thought that was the intention, though. I mean, I think last year we had planned on doing some landscaping
Yes.
there. Right?
And the plan is, like Director Charter said, the plan is definitely to spruce that up.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest problem over there is the water management coming off Bliss and I forget the one that's adjacent to Bliss, but so we've agreed that has to be curbed, and once that is curbed, then we can, anything that we put in there now is just going to wash out in a heavy rain. So once we get that curb in, the plan is then there's just like pathways and stuff to go in there.
Along the top of Caribou Road there.
There's some small things we can do this year, but in order to realize the big plans that we have to.
Okay. I think they would be happy if they saw just something work.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, even if we, like Councillor Chase alluded to, even if we send over a man over and done a little bit of whippersnipping around the edge of it and make it look a little bit better. So I also think that just to put it into the director's ear, that we should put some signs up there to stop the snow coming there in the wintertime, because it do bring in a lot of garbage there, and the residents end up hitting the garbage. So down at the bottom there, especially, there's a few businesses around that dump snow down there. There's quite a bit of garbage left for the winter, so just something to put in the back of your mind, think of.
Yep. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Moving along. Deputy Mayor, we have some capital project updates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report is intended to serve as an update to council and the public regarding the various capital projects being undertaken in the city. The current project updates are as follows. Corner Brook Regional Recreation Center. The design bill request for proposal closed on June 4, 2021. The evaluation committee will now evaluate each proposal and recommend a design bill team for council approval. The operational consultant continues to work with staff to develop an operating governance model for the new facility and is also reviewing documents to better estimate potential operating costs and subsidy levels. Staff are preparing a request for expression of interest document to determine what organizations may have an interest in operating the facility in full or in part. This will help the governance committee determine the best possible operating model for the new facility. Staff are also in talks with Grenfell to develop the necessary agreements. 2021 asphalt program. The 2021 asphalt program tender has now closed and has been awarded. Given the pricing of the successful bid, staff are now adjusting the paving list to maximize the program for 2021. Once the list is complete, staff will bring forward to council. Elizabeth Street pumping station upgrade. The award letter has been sent to the successful proponent and staff are awaiting the required documentation. Once all documentation is in place, the project will proceed. It is expected that the project will take 8 weeks to complete. This project is being complete on behalf of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and is also being fully financed by the province. Confederation and West Valley Roundabout. This project is nearly complete with only large map signs left to be installed. There has been a delay in receiving the required mounting hardware, which consists of the poles and the brackets. Multi-year capital 2020-2023. The city received word on May 4th that Corner Brook will receive $4.6 million in funding for capital projects. Staff will now submit the list of council-approved projects to the province, and once approved, staff will begin to move the projects forward. Engineering studies, excuse me, Steady Brook Water Study. The primary consultant agreement has been executed, and the consultant will now begin the work. It is expected to take 8 weeks to complete. And finally, Mr. Mayor, the Mount Vernon Sanitary Sewer Study. A sanitary sewer study is being undertaken to determine what system upgrades are required to accommodate the new hospital. Different scenarios are being modeled by the consultant, and it is expected that the draft study will be submitted this week.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any questions on those items?
Mr. Mayor, maybe not tonight, but later on this summer sometime, if we could get a little background on this Mount Vernon sanitary sewer study and just find out how long it's going to take, or how far ahead they are on it, and what's going to take place once it starts.
Well, I guess this is I assume that once the study is completed, then we will have to submit a funding application for ICIP, the federal provincial funding. And I understand it will be facilitated by the province on a fast-track basis because it is necessary for the completion of the hospital. Correct? That's the plan? Okay. Okay, yes, hopefully soon we'll have that report. Okay, any other questions? Okay, actually I have a question for Mr. Charters. Do we have any change orders on the roundabout yet?
There was one change order due about aggregate, so it wasn't a massive one. We've also balanced some things in the roundabouts to try to keep it close to our budget as possible, but there was one that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you. Like, are we talking like substantial amount of money, or?
I believe it was in the order of about $20,000, but I can't recall the exact figure.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Report, recreation update.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, the COVID-19 pandemic has greatly impacted recreation and leisure for many people across our province. The City of Corner Brook has recognized this and to encourage citizens to get active and improve their overall well-being. The city is participating in June is Recreation Month. Activities as well as moving forward will be adapted Canada Day celebrations for 2021. The activity description and information. June is Recreation Month. Recreation Newfoundland Labrador declared June as Recreation Month to draw public attention to the important benefits and values of recreation for individuals, families, and communities. Recreation incorporates all of the activities that bring happiness and wellness to our lives, improving mental, physical, emotional, and social well-being. As part of June is Recreation Month, residents can send in pictures of themselves and their families participating in physical activity throughout the month to qualify one of 4 $300 gift cards that will be drawn randomly on June 30th. Photos can be sent to rwight@cornerbrook.com. Petissa Action Community Better Challenge. The Petissa Action Community Better Challenge is a physical activity initiative that encourages Canadians to get active in search of Canada's most active community. The City of Corner Brook has signed up for this challenge and is asking residents to download the Petissa Action app or register on the Petissa Action website to track your activity minutes for June in hopes to make Corner Brook Canada's most active community. 50 finalist communities from across the country will be chosen to compete for a $100,000 grand prize, and prizes will also be awarded to the top municipality in each province. Through a grant from Participa Action, the city is offering free older adult fitness classes with Nora Lonergan for the month of June to inspire people to get out and be active for the Community Better Challenge. There will also be additional active TOTS sessions through the month and drop-in sports sessions available for all ages. Check out the Corner Brook social media for a Community Better Challenge participation contest and a chance to win one of 2 $100 gift cards. The Hippocamp wheelchairs. Last year, the City of Corner Brook Recreation Department purchased 3 Hippocamp wheelchairs to improve accessible recreation in the city. One of these chairs is for exclusive use at the splash pad, while the other 2 are available for use on variable terrain. The 2 all-terrain chairs are available for public use and can be accessed by calling 637-1232 or emailing jparsons@cornerbrook.com. Drop-in sports. For the month of June, a variety of sporting activities will be available for drop-in during lunch hour. Wednesdays will be drop-in basketball, Thursdays drop-in pickleball, and Fridays will be drop-in volleyball. All programs will take place from 12 to 2 p.m. at the Civic Center studio. Splash Pad and the Margaret Bowater Park Pool. The Splash Pad in Margaret Bowater Park is now open for use from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. The Margaret Bowater Park Pool will open July 1st with the hours of operation has 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Lifeguards and security will be on deck to ensure the safety of the public, and the COVID-19 protocol is followed. Canteen services will be available. Canada Day. Due to COVID-19 restrictions on mass gatherings, the majority of Canada Day celebrations will be virtual for 2021. Please keep an eye to our social media for Canada Day flag raising and family-based activities such as a rock and scavenger hunts around the city. There will be an evening firework display from Captain Cook's Lookout, and it is encouraged that people social distance while viewing the show. Please keep an eye to our social media for more details. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions there? Okay, we'll continue on, if you would, and tell us what's going on at the Civic Center.
Yes, activities description and information. The last skate for the spring season took place on May 27th, and the ice plant was turned off that evening. The demand for summer ice continues to remain high, as the center will host 8 full weeks for hockey and figure skating. The ice plant for the Kinsman Arena is currently scheduled to be turned on July 4th for programming beginning on July 12th through to Labor Day weekend. There are also a number of basketball and volleyball camps scheduled in June and August, including a Newfoundland and Labrador Volleyball Association provincial camp. The Newfoundland and Labrador Volleyball Association has successfully hosted regional training sessions in May. Many recreational groups has transitioned to summer programming. There are a number of activities available during Recreation Month at the center, including walking, extended hours, senior fitness classes, active tots, pickleball, drop-in activities, including volleyball and basketball with other gym rentals. New in the summer of 2021 is the 16 Junior Ball Hockey League, which started programming on May 30th and will continue through July 28th. It is important to note that since the province announced the plan for reopening Newfoundland and Labrador together again, there has been an increase in interest for more traditional activity, such larger conference meetings and potential large events. There remains a cautious optimism in a return to normal starting in the fall of 2021. This hopefulness is also founded on the recent uptake in the meetings and training business, reflected in 22-day rentals for June. More information is required from public health for many groups to plan and to commit to specific dates for indoor gatherings this fall. And Mr. Mayor, I can also let everyone know that the Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador had their meetings this weekend, and I attended it through the Zoom meeting and that. And right now, the West Coast Senior Hockey League is thinking about, and if everything goes right, we could have hockey here in fall. So that is great news. Not sure yet, but they're working. We're all together to work on it.
Good, thank you. Any questions there?
Mr. Mayor, quick question. Someone brought to my attention a few days ago with regard to operation at the Civic Centre through the summer and currently with ball hockey and so on and so forth. I'm told that parents can drop, or parents or guardians, whomever, can drop their boys and girls off, or anyone, and enter in the lower section and go on into the change room, and they'll change, whatever it might be. But when they come out, they can't just turn right, go underneath the bleachers and walk up the stands and take a seat. They gotta come back through that entrance, go all the way around the building, go up through the front entrance of the Civic Centre, come in through one set of doors, two sets of doors, go through the third set of doors, walk all the way down across, lots of touch points along the way, and then go take your seat. So it seems counterproductive, and I guess there's probably a reason, but I said I would ask the question. And there seems to be a lot of touch points along the way to travel that route as opposed to the shortest route, drop them off, go to the change rooms, whatever it might be, get the young boys and girls ready, or even for the adults that might be participating in some events, and then walk up the steps with a short distance, take their seat and watch the game, or watch the activity.
Mr. Park?
Maybe just an operational thing, but
Yeah,
I said to those individuals, I'll bring it to the attention of council.
Yeah, first I'm aware of it, I'll follow up on it and get whatever answer and let council know.
I would imagine, though, there's separation between the change room access and the public access up at the stands.
I would assume that's the case, but I'm not sure, so I'll check into that and get back to council.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Mayor, I can mention something about over there. I think the reason why that happens is because when the players are changing, they gotta go out one door, they're not allowed. The other people gotta come up and go around. There's something there last time I was over there.
Yeah, I just said I would bring it up for an answer.
Yeah, I know
That's-
even
that's
like, I had my grandson here for Christmas and signed up for hockey, and we could do that. We could went through the, down below, when we go in, he'd go into the, well, he didn't go into the dressing room, he dressed outside, and we could just duck up the steps and you're all in, it's just so simple, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
Who knows,
want to
Mr.
have your attention,
Yeah.
what is pickleball? Does anybody know?
Well, Marina's not here
Crack at it.
right now. The clerk is a pickleball
Yeah, Clark is a
phenomenon.
pickleball expert, but she has dragged me into playing a couple of games. So you play with basically a wiffle ball, which is one of those balls with holes in it, and you use a cross between a badminton racket, a tennis racket, and a ping pong paddle, and you hit it over a net, which is not quite as high as a tennis net, and you play with sort of the same rules as tennis and badminton. You serve to the first to the opposite court.
What it has to do with
Tennis
pickles,
for-
I have no idea.
Tennis for people my age. That's the politically correct way of saying it.
And Mr. Mayor, as I said before, it's a plug for the Physite people at the high school here in the city. They've been playing pickleball at the school for a number of years now, so it's an activity that's, I guess, is probably growing in interest.
It's an emerging.
Never heard.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Poll tax adjustments. Councillor Staben.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess tonight we're going to present the final chapter of poll tax,
Yay.
the end of an era. So back in 2020 budget, Mr. Mayor, council discontinued the charging of poll tax. During that year, staff were focused on collection of the remaining poll tax that was outstanding. At this point, there's an amount of poll tax the staff have deemed and will be a challenge to collect. There are currently 122 accounts of total balance of $33,718.19, which is outstanding. These accounts are for individuals that are no longer employed by the previously identified employer, are no longer able to be located, or are otherwise not able to be collected. The last write-off on poll tax was back in 2018. The write-off will be applied to the allowance for doubtful accounts that have already been established. I guess therefore, Mr. Mayor, be it resolved that the council and the city of Corner Brook approve the write-off of $33,718.19 in outstanding poll tax. And so removed, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Would someone like to second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
Where does it go?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I thought the amount was reasonably low.
I can't believe, because I think we were regularly, it seems, writing off doubtful amounts for that, and adding them to our doubtful accounts throughout the years, right?
I think it's a credit to the staff that they did collect that much.
That's bad news, Dale Park over there with his,
No, it's actually good news. I think the past year, staff have spent a lot of time to collect these amounts and with a focus on it for the past year. So they were successful in getting most of this collected. There is a small amount left that, again, as identified there in the IRP, is collected.
excellent, okay. Any other questions here?
Aaron, after the reason why we got, one of the reasons why we got rid of the poll tax in the first place was the amount of energy that was required to collect the funds in the first place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, good. Good riddance. Anything else before we vote? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. Good. 2020 financial statements. We have the auditor's report back. Councillor Staben.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. On June the 8th, we had our Finance Committee meeting. We had the auditors from BDO on Zoom who gave us a report. Just adding a few verbal comments here. Just wanted to add that it was an unqualified report, which is really good in its own self, and that the city is, on the whole, is in a much greater cash position. So I think that it's been a good year. The financial statements have been audited by BDO Canada, and in their opinion, the consolidated financial statements presents fairly in all material aspects the financial position of the City of Corner Brook as of December 31st, 2020. Also included for Council's review is the final report to the Finance Committee, which summarizes aspects of the audit that should be read in conjunction with the financial statements. So therefore, Mr. Mayor, the motion is, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Corner Brook approve the 2020 audited financial statements of the City of Corner Brook as attached. So moved.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, questions on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I got a few questions to Mr. Park. I guess I'm getting this from Councillor Staben over the years, serving on the committee, Finance Committee, I just went down through a few of these and a few numbers. Looking at and I'll say page 17 there, there's the Government of Canada, there's a Safe Restart Program worth a little over $1 million. Can you tell me, or explain to the citizens what's that for?
Yeah, so in 2020, the federal government provided the Safe Restart funding money to all municipalities across the country. So that was actually received by the city in December. That funding was basically unrestricted funding that was provided to municipalities to help them assist them in any way that they deemed necessary. So they could spend it on operational funding, they could spend it on capital, they could set it aside as a reserve. So at this point, the city has reserved that money, set it aside and not utilize it, and is there in case of an emergency or future catastrophe or an issue.
I know, Mr. Mayor, just a few more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the land transactions, we had an increase last year, maybe close to $80,000. Is that something?
Yeah, I guess in 2020, despite COVID, we actually saw a lot of interest in land. Long-term Drive Industrial Park in particular, there was a lot of interest in there, so we actually did see a greater interest in land transactions.
Okay, good. Development and planning, we had an increase in almost $64,000. Would that be for the software package?
Yeah, development planning was implementing a new software package for learning, so that would include that.
And I can ask Mr. Park this one, but I guess Mr. Burden do a little bit of sweat on this one here. $385,000 an increase in the supervision and administration is changed.
Yeah, and I'll jump in on behalf of Mr. Burton for that one. So in 2020, we during COVID, we had a lot of our public works staff, public works and water and wastewater staff weren't able to complete their normal work. Normally when they're assigned to it, it's divvied out to each department or division as they're working on that. And while they were unable to complete that work, and in fact, in many cases, were able to stay home due to the COVID restrictions, we still had to charge to it, so we charged it to this account here. So that's what the variance is related to, largely to those expenses.
Okay, I got a couple more. The building maintenance in 2020 increased by about $51,000.
Yeah, and that was largely related to City Hall and Depot. At City Hall here, we had some windowsill issues that had to be replaced, and we had some heat pump issues that were unexpected.
Okay, one thing, did we have less daylight last year? Our street lighting went up by $51,000.
It wasn't dark and dreary in many ways, but that was a combination of two things. It's street lighting, which also includes our heritage lights, which is lights that when we do repairs on those, so we had greater expense in the heritage lights, and there was a little bit of a timing difference from the prior year.
Okay. One and final question. What is our debt ratio? Have you looked it up?
Yeah, so I'm glad you prompted me on this one this afternoon, gave me a little bit of chance to do the calculation on that. So for 2020, we had budgeted our debt ratio to be 13.5%. Because we had lower capital in 2020, we didn't actually require borrowing at the end of the year as we had anticipated. So our actual debt ratio came in just under 12% for 2020.
Great job. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Stapleton.
Yeah, and I guess, Mr. Mayor, the committee, and you were there, we agreed that the COVID reserve would stay as for a rainy day.
Yeah, we were able to, I think unlike many municipalities, we did bear down very early in the process and control costs very effectively. And I think that other municipalities, I guess, weren't able or unwilling to do that. I think we're very conservative financially generally, which is, kept us in a good position. So, yeah, I think we are still monitoring things, but having a little bit of money in the kitty for a rainy day is definitely a good idea.
Not a bad thing.
No.
Yep. Any other questions on
One
this?
comment, Mayor. 12% debt ratio for a city of this size is certainly something to be proud of.
Yeah.
It bodes well for the city in terms of its future expenditures, as well as items that they may want to carry in the future. 12% is really, it's not a lot of money from a debt perspective at all.
But of course, remember, as Mr. Park said, we had some delays in some capital money last year, as well, of course, while we're drawing down on other big expenditures we've had over the last decade, really. We are looking now at things like wastewater treatment in the not-so-distant future, as well as our recreation complex, which will be coming, which we'll have to start financing probably early in 2022, I would guess. Is that correct?
If not late 2021.
Right. So we're in good position, I guess, to be able to borrow and continue growing the city, for sure. Any other questions before we take it to a vote?
If I can, though, Mr. Mayor, I
Yes.
would like to thank staff, especially in Treasury, for all their work on this, in particular, Sharice Payne, the manager of Treasury. Getting through this audit process is a challenge, and definitely during COVID times, it's even more challenging. So kudos to staff on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. I'll take it to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Contraminded? Carried. Thank you. And I guess to go along with that, we have a tax recovery plan. Councillor Stabe?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess this is something that we do every year for the province. The Provincial Department of Municipal Affairs requires all municipalities to prepare and approve an annual tax recovery plan. The tax recovery plan outlines the tax balances that are outstanding at the end of the year and the methods that the city will use for its collections. At the end of 2020, there was a balance of $2,542,000 outstanding from 1,063 different properties. This is up slightly from 2.397 to 397 million and the 1,100 properties at the end of 2019. 2020 and 2021 have been challenging for both businesses and residents due to COVID-19. However, the business will continue its collection tools for properties that are in arrears. The city is willing to work with property and business owners to set up reasonable payment plans. If suitable payment plans are not in place, the city will exercise its various collection tools, including water shutoffs, rental seizures, tax sales, or legal action. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, be it resolved that the City of Corner Brook approve its 2020 tax recovery plan as attached. So moved.
Thank you. Seconded, right here. Councillor Buckle. Questions on this?
And actually, Mr. Mayor, when we looked at the receivables, they were in great shape.
Well, we're almost back to, I guess, 2019
Yeah.
levels for a lot of our tax.
So, you know, the numbers are a bit misleading, but I think
Yeah, at December, we were slightly behind where we were last year. As of now, current date in the May, we're actually slightly ahead of where we were last year. And now currently where we were in 2019.
Perfect.
Yeah, Mr.
Councillor
Mayor,
Bradley?
I can ask this question after the vote, but I don't know if it'll be in order or not. It has to deal with the, since it's referred in the tax collection with regard to properties and people owing money, et cetera, et cetera. Where are we with regard to the derelict property that's on Bannisters Road? The abandoned property there, we looked at that a while back, and we were going to report back to the people that were interested. And what they call a dry pile, was a derelict property on Bannisters Road.
There's a, I don't know if there's a property on Bannisters Road that is currently not occupied, but not aware of any property that's been.
It's the same property that, you know, we've had some discussion with regard to in the emails, and there was another email came in today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that property as far as,
So
again,
we were going to look into it, or staff was going to look into it and report back to us
Yep.
too. So where are we with regard to that property? I don't know the number on it.
that
If we
property.
don't have the answer tonight, we could have staff look into it tomorrow and respond back to us to let us know where we are with regard to that property. I guess we all received the email.
Yeah, no, I think, Mr. Flynn, are you aware of that one?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our second email on that same property.
Yeah, no, that property, as far as I think, in my inquiry about it, the property is up to date from a taxation point of view. There's currently no one in the house, but the house itself is not in violation of any particular property violation that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Can we get a response back then from staff to answer the citizens in that particular area that have some concerns?
Yeah.
I mean, did that?
I'll have
report
the
back?
municipal officers
Yep.
review that file.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, but Counselor, just to go a bit further in that, yeah, I thought we dealt with this before, and we had someone go up and look at it.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Nobody,
Again, we might not be talking about the same house, so I guess we should make sure. We'll follow up, though, Councillor
Yeah,
Granter,
that's true.
with email, just to make sure that we're closing the loop on it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay?
Thank you.
So I guess back to the tax recovery plan. Any other questions on that before we vote? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Next, Councillor Staben, we have a land sale.
Yeah, thank
Pratt
you.
Street.
Before we go into that, Mr. Mayor, I want the council to rule if I'm in a conflict of interest. That particular development is, I live on the corner of Carter and Pratt.
Okay.
And the development, this would be phase 3 of the development that has been taking place over the last 13 or 14 or 15 years. I'm right across the street. I want to know if I'm in a conflict one way or the other.
Okay, so what I'll recommend is, would someone like to make
Make
a,
a motion that Councillor Granter is in a conflict of interest.
okay, would someone like to second that?
I'll second that.
Seconded, okay, so we have to decide whether or not Councillor Granter is in a conflict. If you think that he is in a conflict, vote
Is there a question that I
aye.
can, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
And I guess the question that I will ask is, would the property that's owned by the councillor increase in value if the development was to go ahead?
It's hard to know.
I don't know that Councillor Granter would be in I think in the
I guess that's why I say
definition.
the property.
Yeah, as a class of citizens, I don't think that he would necessarily be special in any way there. Would you say, Mr. Cumby?
He would have to be in a class of he would have to be separate from a class of citizens that may benefit from something like that. So he would not be separate from from a class of citizens in that area.
Right, so that he would, so he would not be typically not considered in a conflict.
No, in that situation, he would not be in a conflict.
Okay. And you don't have any ownership or any interest
none
otherwise?
whatsoever.
Okay.
I don't even know what I got.
Okay, so there's any other questions about the motion before we vote on the conflict? No, pretty clear, pretty straightforward. Okay, so if you believe Councillor Granter is in a conflict, say aye. And not and counterminded?
Nay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, you're clear.
Getting out of that one.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Stephen.
Mr. Mayor. Land management was approached by 52453 Newfoundland and Labrador Limited, who requested to purchase city land to complete the next phase of the subdivision located near Pratt Street. City obtained this land from Newfoundland and Labrador Housing Corporation back in 2003, and it is currently vacant and covered with natural vegetation. The approximate area is 5.23 acres, with 2 access points between 59 and 65 Pratt Street and between 75 and 79 Pratt Street. According to city policy, the land must be sold through the public tendering process unless otherwise directed by council. 52453 Newfoundland and Labrador Limited completed the previous 2 phases of Pratt Street and also owns a portion of land that is required to develop the access point between 75-79 Pratt Street. Based on the drawings submitted by Newfoundland and Labrador Limited, the proposed subdivision will have a total of 23 lots with another access point to allow for future development. Due to 52453 Newfoundland and Labrador Limited owning a portion of land that would allow development of the access point between 75-79 Pratt Street, it would make it difficult for another developer to develop that same land. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, be it resolved to approve staff to negotiate and enter an agreement of purchase and sale with 52453 Newfoundland and Labrador Limited for city land located near Pratt Street. So moved.
Thank you. Okay, questions on this one?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor. Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor. That'll have to come back to council anyway once
Yes.
for final approval. Once negotiations are finished. Correct?
Yeah, that would be the intention from staff, is that if council were to approve this motion now, we would enter into the negotiations with the developer. Once the final agreement is approved on that, we would bring that back to council for ratification.
Okay, but the agreement,
The actual land and purchase sale agreement will come back to council. This is basically authorizing staff to enter into negotiations with that developer directly.
That's why I emphasized to negotiate.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just a couple of questions, just in general, not specific, but in general. When the city enters into agreements with developers, I know there was a time, I understand, before my time on council, when in the developments of some of the residential neighborhoods, the developer will be required as a part of the development to put in like a playground area or swing sets and those kinds of things for young families in that particular neighborhood. Is that something that we require as a city in development? And do we, as a city, follow up on developments and developers when they're putting in residential, new homes in residential neighborhoods to include that as a part of the development?
Yeah, part of the development application or development approval process would be development of green spaces. In some exceptional circumstances that green spaces couldn't be developed, there could be a payment made in lieu of a green space. But typically, there would be a green space that's required to be developed. And that agreement would then outline what is required, whether it's just to be left as an open space or whether specific equipment is to be placed in that space.
And the other question, Mr. Mayor, is again, is a general sense. The type, not necessarily the types of homes, but the number of units that are in the homes that are put in residential neighborhoods. Would they be, would be limited to the number of apartments that are included? Would be a mix of single-family homes? Or would, once you give the go-ahead to a developer, could they put in all apartments type residences? 20 on the street, if this is 20 lots or whatever it might be.
I'll answer.
Or is there a mix? Is there a mix? Because my concern, not necessarily here, but in areas where we get lots of snow, if there's apartments or 2 units in a building, and if the streets aren't wide enough, we get in a situation in the wintertime around the city whereby you got 2 apartment units, could be 4 cars, cars are out on the street, but if it was planned appropriately and properly, the streets will be wide enough to accommodate, you know, extra cars, apartment building, not apartment buildings, but 2 units in their residence, and we wouldn't be in an issue in some streets around the city, especially in newer developments, if you get lots of snow and inhibiting the prohibiting city clearance of snow in the wintertime.
Yeah, and I guess I'll speak here, and Director Gardner can definitely correct me if he wishes. Each zone has particular requirements in regards to what is allowed and what isn't allowed. So typically the residential RMD, residential medium density apartments will be permitted. In a low density, residential low density zone, apartments typically are not permitted or are more restrictive. So what's being proposed here would be an RMD zone. As for street width, and again, that's one more for traffic and operations, but if a wider street still would inhibit or preclude snow clearing from taking place, so that wouldn't actually resolve an issue of allowing people to park on the street. But each of the zones had their own requirements in regards to what is permitted and what is discretionary.
My point there, you know, as we go forward in the city with development, is that we do it right. That, you know, I'm all for development, all for new residences and all those kinds of things, but it would be nice that it's all done right, that it's laid out properly through the city guidelines, not to prohibit developers, but to make sure that it looks neat, looks tidy, the streets are wide enough, there's room for parking, and, you know, and all those other things that makes a modern city look and feel, and neighbors look and feel comfortable and good.
Yes, go
May I
ahead.
suggest we're in the process of preparing our new integrated municipal sustainability plan, and that would be, you know, a very, very appropriate thing to bring up in our discussions, and thoughts from council will have an opportunity to speak, you know, to the authors of that plan, and that would be a very, very good thing to bring up at that point.
Absolutely. I think generally we're learning from our mistakes. That's what I'm seeing. So as the city progresses forward, I think that the modern subdivisions that we've created in the last number of years are obviously an improvement over what's been done in the past. And I assume and hope that it will continue to get better as we provide that oversight and try and hone the plan that Mr. Cumby is alluding to. So.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other questions on this? Yes, go ahead, Deputy.
So I just want to make sure I understand what's going on here. So according to city policy, this land must be sold through public tendering process, but because 52453 owns 75 to 79, that it can't go through public tendering, so they want council to vote to go against the policy. Is that?
It's like we have to, we usually go to an RFP or some process unless council says you don't have to. In this case here, staff are recommending that we don't bother because this developer would have, I guess, certain access points and things that make it really more sensible or almost impossible for someone to come in and develop it otherwise without their partnership.
The policy allows for an exception to this, but in order to exercise that exception, council must approve the use of that exception.
Right.
And there is no other access to that land.
There would be 2 access points to that land for what the planned subdivision is, one of which would be through the city land, the other one would be through the other developer's land. Also, a number of the lots wouldn't be able to be developed just with the city land, and it would have to change the layout of it because of only one access point. There would be restrictions on regarding the length of cul-de-sac that could be permitted there. So it would be, from staff's perspective, it'd be more advantageous to have this developed with both access points and allow for the full development there.
So there's no advantage or disadvantage to anybody?
Pardon me?
There's no advantage or disadvantage to anybody by doing it this way? Like, somebody's not benefit from it, whereas somebody else who wanted to get in on it, we're kind of shutting them out. That's not where we're going with this.
We're not aware of anybody else that was interested in this. This is the original developer that did complete the first 2 phases. The third phase, there was some question initially whether or not they would be able to complete it because of water flow issues and whatnot. Those issues have all been resolved now. The developer wishes to proceed, and staff are recommending it.
That's fine. Thank you.
Just a follow-up to the deputy, what would be the problem with going public tendering and just let the chips fall where they may?
Mr. Burke?
We can certainly follow that process. It's a time process. So in order to develop the RFP, we have to develop it, issue the RFP, wait for the responses, and then evaluate, and then come back. So it would probably be I would say a 6 to 8 week process in order to do that. So.
Are we getting the most value for our money? Would that be right to say?
Staff are recommending that the sale price on this would be what we would require. And that's, I guess, outlined there in the RFP, what we would be looking for per acre on this as undeveloped backlot land.
Personally, I like the public tendering process because it's transparent and everybody can see exactly what's happening. I just think that.
I think everyone can see this, though. This is open and transparent, right? We're talking about it.
Oh, we're talking about it, but we're only just given a number and just one person who is interested into it, but we don't know unless we have a public tendering process, exactly who would be interested in it.
Yeah.
But, Mr. Mayor, I would say, this land, though, is really only good for the person who got the land behind there, isn't it?
Not necessarily.
That would definitely be the most advantageous development that we can see as staff. There may be possibility that somebody else can come in with something, but we don't see that as a realistic opportunity.
I think this maximizes, so by looking at it, we have an opportunity for 23 building lots that we wouldn't have otherwise. Is that the way to look at it?
Yeah, if this subdivision is developed as proposed, it would be 23 lots. If it was only the city land that was being developed, it would be less than 23 lots. I can't say for sure how many it would be, but it would be less than that because they would lose the second access point and the standard. And part of the lots that would be developed would actually be on the other owner's land, so we wouldn't be able to sell that. So that would have to then be negotiated between the purchaser of the city land and the existing landowner.
They have a unique position here, right?
Pardon me?
They have a unique position here that another developer doesn't have.
Quick question, Mr. Mayor. If approved, will the development go ahead this summer, or will the development take place next year?
What's the timeline here? Typically, what's the timeline for our agreements on these kind of deals, Dale?
The developer has expressed interest in proceeding on this one this year, so we're going to begin to develop on that this summer. So, Mr. Charters just pointed out as well, the water line that's proposed for this development actually goes through the developer's land as well. So without having an access point through that land, it would be, again, any other developer would have to negotiate with the current landowner for that access point, which, again, is another challenge.
Okay. Any other questions on this? Okay. We'll take it to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Counterminded? Carried. Excellent. More housing. Okay, Councillor Chason, Youth Advisory Committee update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Youth Advisory Committee held a meeting on June 8, 2021 to discuss the following items. The committee had a great uptake in the applicants for Growing Together project, which was funded by the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador. With their supplies, the committee was able to put together 50 grow kits, and residents were able to fill out an online form to request a kit. Members held 2 pickup nights at City Hall for residents to pick up their kits, and they had a great turnout. The committee is encouraging residents to post photos of their gardening adventures in progress on social media and use the hashtag CBKindness. The committee is hoping to do some small contests surrounding the project. The committee have their community garden plot set up for the summer. They plan to set up a schedule for the summer so that all members can participate in maintaining the plot and making sure it is watered and looked after. Once it comes close to harvesting any of these crops, they will determine where they will donate them. We've already had a few requests of people who want to, or organizations would like to have them. The signs of positivity are going to be put out around the city again this summer by Public Works. I'd like to issue a big thank you to Director Burton and his staff, because they always put these out, pick them up, tie them up, bundle them up, and bring them back to us. So we will return them in the same shape when Director Burton lets me know when the Public Works can pick them up. The committee has expressed an interest in being involved in any events that the city is involved in over the summer. A representative from the Upland Planning and Design Studio met virtually with the committee regarding obtaining youth input into the Integrated Municipal Sustainability Plan, IMSP, and development regulations for the city. The members provided some perspective on the youth experience in the city and what aspects of the growth of the city are important to them. They were encouraged to visit the website www.cornerbrookplan.ca for more information, provide more input, and also encouraged to share with family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions there? Okay.
One question, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
The community garden plot, that's one of these 2x10, is that what they call a plot?
Yeah.
Of one of the gardens, just one garden?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't sure, one whole area.
Yeah. Okay. Information sharing agreement, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Election 2021 voters list. In accordance with the Municipal Election Act, the voters list must be completed by 28 August 2021. Given that council will be implementing vote by mail as a voting option for the 2021 election, it is imperative that the voters list be finalized as soon as possible to allow sufficient time for staff to implement, I think,
Yep.
the vote by mail process, which will include a module to allow the public to ensure their name is on the voters list. Inclusion of an individual's name on the voters list is voluntary, and we highly encourage residents to confirm that their name is on the list. The City of Corner Brook routinely works with Elections NL regarding the transmittal of information of the provincial voters list. In order to access the provincial voters list for the 2021 municipal general election, we are required to sign off on the attached agreement. This agreement has been reviewed by the city solicitor, and she has recommended executing the agreement. It is resolved to approve execution of the information sharing agreement between Elections Newfoundland and Labrador and the City of Corner Brook regarding the transmittal of information of the provincial voters list. I so move.
Thank you. Someone would like to second that?
Second.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
Just a quick question in relation to it, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
Has the returning officer actually determined when the nomination day is going to be in August? The only reason I ask is the timing between the completion of the voters list and the actual nomination day.
I think the clerk is working on that. They're still working out some issues with municipal affairs on the bylaw we passed and sorting out some of the logistics for us and other municipalities there. So there's still a few little tweaks there, so I don't think that everything is completely nailed, but I know that the clerk is working on getting a date for the orientation and all those things as well soon. So.
Because the two are somewhat linked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Mayor, a quick question with regard to lots of questions I guess will come up with regard to the mail-in ballot. For residents that may be away for that period of time, late summer into September, pre-election day, because elections obviously with all of the aspects we have in place is more than just one day. There's election day, but the election takes place over a 2-3 week period, especially with a mail-in ballot. So will the option be there for any residents that may be away for that entire period who request the mail-in ballot? Will the mail-in ballot be sent to their local address in Corner Brook? And the sun is right over your head here, Mr. Mayor. I know it's just...
Yeah.
Will it just be sent to their local address in Corner Brook, or when the resident makes application for the mail-in ballot, can he or she make the address to be delivered, say if they're vacationing in St. Anthony or in Bonavista Bay or in St. John's or for that matter in Nova Scotia?
And, you know,
Do we know the answer to that yet?
I don't think we know the answer to that quite yet. I'm sure Marina has a better idea of it, but I think they'll have to wait and see a little bit more.
Because for the provincial election, it was mailed at home. Because I was in Kelowna at the time, so it went home, and I got it mailed to Kelowna
Oh, okay.
from home.
I guess we'll
Yeah.
wait for Marina to get
Yeah,
back
there's-
and get an answer to that.
There are still things, and I guess, Mr. Park, I know you've been involved a little bit talking with the province on this as well. Some of the,
Marina is definitely the expert.
she's the expert on this, but there are things still being worked out there. Again, once those are finalized, I'm sure that she'll have really good, clear communication on how that would work. But remember, again, to everyone, this is just another option. You could still vote the same way you did before. You could still do your proxy voting. You could still do your advance polls. This is just another way. For an example, if someone is going to be away on that day, or they just want to make sure they don't want to come here because of COVID or whatever, just another option for them. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Problem? Any? Okay. Anything else there? No, pretty straightforward. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Counter-minded? Carried. Okay. And we have some land leases. Councillor Carey.
Mr. Mayor, request to lease city land adjacent to 42 Pratt Street. Land management was approached by the owner of 42 Petrie Street, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, to lease city land located adjacent to the property. They are also requesting to modify the grade of the land to make it level with their current property. The purpose of this lease will be for parking and has approximately 335 meters or 3,606 feet with a 12.7 meter or 47.7 foot frontage. If approved, parking will be limited to residential vehicles only, and any modifications to the grade of the land will have to be approved by the City Engineering Department to ensure that the encroachments are made on city infrastructure. Currently, the land is vacant and already has an approved lease located adjacent to the property. Therefore, be it resolved to approve the execution of the land lease between the City of Corner Brook and the property owner, 42 Petrie Street, City of Corner Brook. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second it.
Thank you. Questions on this one?
Where is 42 Petrie Street? Is that by the bridge?
Yeah, it's
Where you go around the bend there?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's already parking used for.
Yeah, and there is some parking, I guess, on the eastern side. They're looking for the western side.
Looks like there's a boat on it currently.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions there? Fairly straightforward. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counter-minded? Carried. And last but not least,
Yep, Mr. Mayor,
City
again,
Land
that's
on Golden Glow.
It's a request to lease land on Golden Glow Avenue. Land management was approached by a resident of 33A Golden Glow Avenue who requested to lease city land located on Golden Glow Avenue. They are also requesting to modify the grade of the land to make it more suitable area. The purpose of the lease will be for parking, and the land is approximately 37.2 meters or 400 foot square with 6.1 meter or a 20-foot frontage. If approved, parking will be limited to residential vehicles only, and all fill removed or placed must not interfere with the neighboring property. Currently, there's already an approved parking lease located adjacent to the proposed one. Therefore, be it resolved to approve the execution of the lease agreement between the City of Corner Brook and the resident of 33A Golden Glow Avenue in the City of Corner Brook on Golden Glow Avenue. I so move, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Questions there? Again, seems fairly straightforward, and again, it looks like it may improve that area somewhat to straighten it out. Okay? Okay. If there are no questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
Counterminded? Carried. Well,
Mr. Mayor, before we adjourn, can I just have one other 30 seconds?
yes, go ahead.
This being our last meeting before graduation at the local Corner Brook Regional High School, Mr. Mayor, and this is graduation season. Students have had a tough year and a half from COVID. I know it's been challenging for graduating students for sure, probably challenging for teachers as well, but especially for the graduating class that have had such challenges over the last 12, 13 months. So I want to take the opportunity, and I know everyone else around the table would share with me to wish all of the graduating students at Corner Brook Regional High, and indeed all of the graduating students in the province this June, a very successful graduation, no matter what it will be, and wish them all the very best in their graduating year and post-secondary studies, and especially to my stepdaughter, Taylor. So wish all of them a very great graduation this year.
Thank you. And Von, remember, you still have to come back to council meetings in July.
Yes, I know, but the graduation will already been over by that time. And August.
No, I thought that a habit, you would probably think you could get the summer to relax. Okay. Okay, thank you all. That being the end of the agenda, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
About this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.